Most men can tell you exactly what their father did: his job, his hobbies, the car he drove, the way he walked, the way he spoke, but ask them who their father was emotionally. And the room often goes quiet. Not because they're hiding the answer, because they don't have one. Most men don't learn how to be men through conversation. They learn through observation. They watch, they imitate, they absorb, they build their identity from the example standing in front of them. But what happens when the man you were supposed to observe was a ghost? Not absent, not gone, just unavailable. Physically present, emotionally out of office, the kind of father who paid the bills, showed up to work, fixed things around the house, maybe even loved his family deeply, but somehow remained impossible to reach. You could see him, you just couldn't find him. And if that was your experience, there is something important you need to understand. You are not lost because you're weak. You are not confused because you're broken. You are struggling because you were given a blueprint with the most important pages missing. Imagine being handed a map. The roads are there, the cities are there, the landmarks are there. But every route that teaches you how to become a man has been erased. No instructions, no explanations, no examples, just blank space. That's what many sons inherit from a ghost father. Not abuse, not hatred, absence of guidance, and absence leaves a different kind of wound, because in homes like these, connection often had only one language: work, achievement, responsibility, utility. The moments of closeness usually happen while fixing something, building something, working on something, doing something, rarely while feeling something, rarely while talking about fear or grief or insecurity or doubt. The message wasn't spoken, it didn't need to be, the message was observed. Your value comes from what you do, not who you are. Children are experts at learning unspoken rules, so the son learns something. If my father never talks about emotions, then emotions must not matter. If my father only receives respect when he produces, then my value must come from production. If my father only seems comfortable while working, then work must be where safety lives. Years later, that lesson follows him into adulthood. And now he feels guilty when he's resting, anxious when he's unproductive, worthless when he's struggling, not because he believes these things consciously, because his nervous system was trained to believe them. He learned that being a man meant being useful, and usefulness became his identity. The problem is that usefulness is not the same thing as personhood. A tool has utility, a human being has humanity, and many sons of ghost fathers spend years confusing the two. This creates another problem, one that often appears in relationships. A partner asks for emotional intimacy. She wants to know what's happening inside, what he's feeling, what he's afraid of, what he needs. And suddenly, he hits a wall. A physical tightness in the chest, a sudden urge to leave the room, a strange pressure behind the eyes, not because he's angry, not because he doesn't care, because the system is crashing. People often assume men like this are withholding, but the truth is usually more complicated. It's not that he's hiding his feelings, it's that he's searching a library that has no books in it. Nobody taught him the vocabulary, nobody showed him the language, nobody demonstrated what emotional honesty looked like. He's standing in an empty library, trying to answer questions he was never taught how to ask. And when that pressure builds, he defaults to the strategy he inherited. Silence, because silence is the shield he watched his father use. Silence is familiar. Silence is safe. Silence is inherited. I want you to think about something. When was the last time your father told you he was scared? Not angry, not frustrated, scared. Take a second and really think about it. If you're struggling to remember, that's the point. Many men grew up watching fathers who showed responsibility, strength, competence, sacrifice, but never vulnerability, never uncertainty, never emotional truth. And when you never witness those things, you don't learn how to express them. You learn how to hide them. Because observation is the first teacher, and what wasn't modeled often becomes invisible, which creates one of the most painful experiences for these men. They begin feeling like imposters. They look around at other men and assume everyone else knows something they don't. How to lead, how to be confident, how to be decisive, how to be a husband, how to be a father, how to handle stress, how to stay calm. So they start studying, watching, scanning, code breaking, the boss at work, the successful friend, the confident man at the gym, the character in the movie. anyone who appears to have figured it out. Many sons of ghost fathers become observers of masculinity rather than owners of it. They're not just watching, they're translating, trying to decode a language they were never taught. A stranger in a country where everyone else appears fluent, watching how other men shake hands, handle conflict, lead a family, carry pressure, express confidence, hoping nobody notices they're still learning the language, hoping nobody discovers how incomplete the blueprint really feels. And this constant scanning is exhausting because they're not living, they're performing, trying to play a role they never saw rehearsed. But here's the truth, and it might be the most important thing you'll hear today. Your father may have given you an incomplete map, but you are not required to stay lost. You cannot change the roads he failed to show you. You cannot rewrite his story. You cannot travel back and receive what wasn't given. But you can stop letting those blank spaces define where you're allowed to go. Because every blank space on a map is also an opportunity to draw a new road, to create a new route, to become something that didn't exist before. The goal isn't becoming the father you never had. The goal is becoming the man you wish you had observed. That's where healing begins. Not with blame, not with resentment, with authorship, with ownership, with agency. You stop asking, why didn't he teach me? And start asking, what do I want to build now? Because the truth is that many ghost fathers were not cruel men. Many were wounded men carrying burdens they never learned to put down, men surviving with tools they inherited, men doing the best they could with a blueprint that was incomplete long before it reached them. Understanding that doesn't erase the wound, but it prevents you from becoming the next ghost. You do not need his permission to become a different kind of man. You do not need his example to create your own. You do not need to inherit every silence. You do not need to repeat every absence. You can become the founding father of your own identity, the first man in your family to build a different blueprint, the first man to draw new roads, the first man to say, this is where the pattern ends, because the ghost only has power as long as you stay in the house he built. Eventually, you have to build your own. So tell me in the comments, which blank spot in your life are you currently trying to fill? Learning how to be a partner, learning how to be a father, learning how to trust yourself, or simply learning how to be yourself. Let's talk about the blueprints we're drawing now.